With Edom, he perpetually pursued his brother with the sword and cast off all pity. And his anger did tear perpetually. Esau's anger never relinquished, never stopped, never slowed down against the people of Israel.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father of the Israelites, the true Israelites. Okay, his name is Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God. I say ignorantly because they ignore the fact that you're dealing with the Hebrew Israelites, and it's not a black thing. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites are who we are. Okay, now black and white is a construct made up by the white man to take you out of your lineage, your heritage, your customs, your belief systems, as it has taken him out of his, so he can easily replace who you are as a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, right? You are the actual Israelites, all right? So all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, that means in the name of Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus, right? Now his name, Yahweh Shai, means he saves, he delivers. And if I didn't give you the definition of Yahweh, it means he is, he exists. All right. All of this in the Rakah Kodash, which is the Spirit Holy. Who did I learn this from? All right. So now I must give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the teachers of our nation, the household of faith. Okay. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS. They rule well. They teach on the highways and hedges week in and week out in truth and sincerity. Right? Risking their lives and freedom to do so, because we know that the devil, this so-called white T-man on the earth, has come down with great wrath, seeking whom he may devour, which means destroy. Okay? Because he knows that his time is short on the earth. He is a deceiver and he is a liar. Okay? It's very funny because this video that I'm showing you right here is called Esau, the fewest among nations, ruling the world with wars and lies. Yes, you have been ruling the world with wars and lies because you are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. You know, and I brought this video up because you need to hear what he says that the true Israelites are, because there's something called, I guess, British Israelism. So you kind of know where I'm going with this. But this is how the liar is operating. So let's play this.
Saul's anger never relinquished, never stopped, never slowed down against the people of Israel. And it is true to this very day. Why the hatred of Israelites, true Israelites? I mean the Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Scandinavian related people. Why the anger?
All right, so he just said that the Scandinavians, the Germanic, and the Anglo-Saxon people are the true Israelites. Let me see if I have this correct and within the right context. I need to hear it again. All right.
He perpetually pursued his brother with the sword and cast off all pity. And his anger did tear perpetually. Esau's anger.
Right.
Never relinquished, never stopped, never slowed down.
Right. I agree with that
against the people of Israel.
Okay.
And it is true to this very day.
Right.
Why the hatred of Israelites, true Israelites? I mean the Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Scandinavian related people. Why the anger?
Okay, so yeah, he just did a what they call a pseudo, which means a fake. He gave you a fake rendition of his version. He gave you his opinion of who the Israelites are. You can see the hatred in his face. Like, how are you going to be talking, how are you going to prophesy against your own house? What should I say about this? It's the book of Luke, chapter 11, verse 14 is where I begin. It says, and he was casting out a devil, and it was dumb. And it came to pass when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake, and the people wondered. But some of them said, he casteth out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. And others, tempting him, sought of him a sign from heaven. But verse 17, but he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, right? That means destruction. It says, and a house divided against a house falleth. All right, so you see this Edomite man in the video, he's divided against his own house. He's beginning, these Edomites are beginning to feel the curses, right? One of them being named confusion of face. All right, confusion of faces. They don't even realize who they are, right? Through the scriptures, the Heavenly Father blinding them. So if this is if this ain't replacement theology that this man is doing, this must be the Heavenly Father blinding them. All right. It says in verse 18, if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. All right. So how is the Son of the Heavenly Father going to be, casting out devils, right? Why would he divide against himself? That's not possible, right? He is for the elect. He is for the chosen, the children of Yahweh, his Heavenly Father, the Heavenly Father. So our Heavenly Father as well. He is for Yasharallah, the chosen, the elect. All right, so he's not gonna cast away his children. The Heavenly Father's not gonna cast away his children. You see that? All right, but the devil has children. He has progeny, and they're called the Edomites. All right, and that's what he is. This man right here, he's an Edomite, man. He doesn't even know his own lineage. He doesn't know that his forefather Esau was blessed with the sword. He sees the fruits of Esau's spirit, which is wickedness in the earth. He's a product of it. He's enjoying it. Look where he is. He probably has his own studio. He has his own church following. People are sending him money, donations and whatnot, right? But we don't envy the oppressor. We understand who he is, right? And we understand who we are, in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We can recognize our enemies. That confusion of face is being lifted, from the hopeful elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? We can see clearly because we don't have that spiritual obscurity, blocking or clouding our vision. Call Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's watch this again. This is entertaining.
Pursued his brother with the sword.
Yep.
And cast off all pity. And his anger did tear perpetually. Esau's anger never relinquished, never stopped, never slowed down.
That's right. Even to this day, you devils that are in rulership, you forming ICE and Ice Baby and all that. You forming your technocracy that you've been planning since the early 1900s. Come to find out, but you've been wanting this level of autonomy. You've been wanting this level of intelligence through your artificial intelligence to supplement what you lack. Okay, though you be wise as Daniel, as the scriptures say, and you still, seek deep to hide your counsel. All right, so you've hidden your counsel, right? You try to, but it's all coming out because prophecy is revealing it. It's revealing who you are. It's revealing who your people are. Not saying you are Esau, but you are of the Edomites. You are of the Idumeans, the people that you're sitting here trying to prophesy against. It's your own house. You're divided against yourself because you don't think that your ancestors could do so wickedly. But you know in your heart of hearts, you have an inkling, sir, that you're an Edomite. I'm sure you do.
Against the people of Israel. And
you know who the people of Israel are because we, like the Heavenly Father said, I change not, So he has a chosen people, man. And I'll just show you an image real fast of Hebrews in bondage in Egypt. We haven't changed the way our appearance looks at all. The Heavenly Father would have. He's not gonna rapidly transform us into some people with some curly fries on the side of our head, man. He's not. He's not doing that with us now. Now this brother, the one on the far left, he might be Jay, but then he could be our the Ishmaelites, which is pretty much our cousins. You know, the son of Abraham and Hagar. All right, but then again, like I say, a small portion of them could be Jake. But for the most part, nah, man. That's not how we look. All right, them is more or less Ishmaelites, Edomites, Amalekites, really. Okay, that's what that is, and I'm gonna show you what the Hebrews look like. In both the Syrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Egyptian captivity. This is how we looked. Okay, there you go. We was dark, we were melanated people. You see the staff that they was carrying because guess what? Our people was what? Herders of sheep. All right. Another image of Israelites, Hebrews, I should say, in bondage in Egypt doing work. Okay, so we don't go from looking like this to looking like this. Nah, bro, that's not it. That ain't it, man. All right. So this man right here, he's a liar. It says, let me get the precept. This is the book of Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb, right? Remember, Esau sold his birthright for a morsel. He's profane, right? Wicked. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right. And a liar, being or telling lies is one of the attributes or characteristics of Satan. All right. The counterpart of Satan on the earth is the so-called white T-man, Esau Edom. All right. And their church is what? The Roman Catholic Church, which is the false prophet, the Antichrist written of in the scriptures. One of the three unclean spirits like frogs, okay, that came out of the dragon. All right. The dragon speaks what? Great and blasphemous things. They speak great things, okay? Make this place what? Great. No, it's Babylon, the great mystery Babylon. There's no longer a mystery to the true men of the Lord of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right? The spirit of power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is what we come in. We don't come in no deceitful spirit. Right? We don't come with guile on our tongue or on our lips, man. All right? Yeah, so you are Esau. You are Esau. Let's listen to a little more of this.
It is true to this very day. Why the hatred of Israelites, true Israelites? I mean the Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Scandinavian related people. Why the anger?
Why the lie? This man sitting up here replacing all kind. He putting himself in the bucket of being an Israelites, man. Like as if they was in real like hardcore bondage, like Jake was. All right, like they was brutally beaten, raped, robbed, and pillaged. And they act like we had changed their language. We had took their customs from them. They act like we put them in chains. They act like we brought them over here in ships. What? Shut your lying ass up. Your time is almost up. The devil, he knows his time is short, man. And so like I say, even to this day, these people is wicked as hell and they still lying. Come on, some Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavians, and Germanic are that real true Israelites. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Why the hatred? Why the hatred against Christianity, against Christ?
So he said, why does Esau hate Christianity? See what they doing? And they created Christianity, which showed up early on in the Church of Antioch. All right. This is the first time the word Christian was ever used is in the book of Acts chapter 11, verse 26. It says, and when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. All right. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. Let me read that again. They assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first. And where? Antioch. Where's Antioch? Right? All right, so here go a little map right here. You see Jerusalem right there in red. If you travel north, you're gonna up the Mediterranean Sea. You're gonna see Antioch right there. That's in Turkey, modern day Turkey. All right, that's where Antioch is. If you notice just above it, it start getting into what they call Asia Minor, right? Which is what they try to call Europe now. Okay, all right. Black Sea. If you look at where the Black Sea is and where the Mediterranean Sea is, all right, let's go there. All right, so there's a more modern map right there. So you see the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea. All right, and right on the right is you see Israel. Okay, Syria, Lebanon, all that, Turkey up here. So right there where it said where Turkey is, you okay? That's where the Church of Antioch was. All right, you see how close that is to Greece. All right, so some of our people was Grecian. All right, so yeah, we literally was scattered to the four winds of the earth, but they first called us Christians right there in Turkey, Antioch. Right. During the time of Paul and the apostles, mid first century AD, the Roman Empire had supreme authority over both regions. Let me read that again. During the time of Paul and the apostles, mid first century AD, the Roman Empire held supreme authority over both regions. All right, so who ruled the Roman Empire? Right? It says here Antioch, Syria, ruled by Roman governors under the ultimate authority of the emperor. All right, so we got to find out who the emperor was so you can get a clear picture of the rulership of Rome at the time. What does it say? Jerusalem, Judea, ruled by Roman procurators, governors, with specific periods of local subordinate control under Herod Agrippa. And we know that Herod Agrippa, and the rest of the Herodian dynasty, they all descended from the Edomites. And they were rulers of Rome, right? So y'all watching in real time. I said, who was the emperor at that time? It says several Roman emperors reigned during the ministry of Paul and the other apostles, roughly 33 AD to 100 AD, right? And it says between that time it was Tiberius, the emperor, during the crucifixion of Yahweh Shai in the earliest years of the apostles in Jerusalem, right? So this is the Edomite, Tiberius, Caligula, all right, Claudius, and Nero. All right, so let's go. Let's look at Nero. So he reigned during the execution of Paul and Peter. All right, so we're gonna look at Emperor Nero. That's just one. Let's get it. Hold on, Salakia. Emperor Nero. Let's see. Was he a brother? Hell no. He's an Edomite. That's an Edomite right there. And his life mirrors the life of DJT. He even look a little bit like him in a couple of these busts right here, especially this one. Look like DJT all day. Nero 47 is what we call him. For good reason, you know? All right, so these is clearly Edomites. Boom. Facial reconstruction. Red all over like a hairy garment. He's associated with red. That's Esau right there. And his descendants are the Edomites. They ruled Rome. What it say? It says the colorized image of Nero. He was one of the ancient Rome's most famous rulers, known for both cruelty and debauchery. Right, that's homosexual, that stuff. They was cruel, perpetual hatred towards Israel is these Edomites, the devil on the earth. He says he took the throne, right, at the tender age of 16 and 54. I don't give a fuck about no tender age like that. What he talking about? It says reigning in a whirlwind excess until meeting his end at age 30. So he died at the age 30, right? Full of debauchery and wickedness, right? That's the Edomites right there. They're the ones who had hatred toward the Israelites. A continual, perpetual stroke of oppression and hatred toward you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's the Edomite right there, the devil the Bible speak of.
It's perpetual. It's not going to be satisfied until God brings this to an end. And he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. That's what he says. And
I'll read this one last precept. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is the Edomites, the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right? So in the scope of eternity, these Edomites been in rulership because they remember their great forefather Esau, he despised his birthright and sold it to his brother Jacob, and then turned around and lied and said he said that Jacob stole his birthright. Esau's a little weasel ass liar. You know what I'm saying? So we know who he is on the earth, right? He was blessed with the fat of the land, the dew of heaven, and he also was blessed with the sword, right? And he is tearing perpetually. He is trying to wear out the saints, right? He is coming down with great wrath, even to this day, as the little Edomite said in the video. But we know it's true. We know the scriptures prove who he is, and we know the scriptures also prove who we are, the true Israelites. And we ain't no pale faces, man. Some of us is light skinned tawny. Some of us look like the other nations. Some of us could look like the Edomite, like you see in the Amalekite photo. Okay, he could have been a Jake. The Heavenly Father know he gonna sift his people like corn in the sieve, man. And now not the least grain is gonna fall to the earth. The Heavenly Father know who's his already. And he know who not his. He know, these Edomites, they father is Satan, literally Esau, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So with that being said, Jacob, is the Lord's inheritance. Is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's inheritance, man. The Lord's portion, the apple of his eye, the chosen, the elect. All right. 1/3 of our people going to be brought through the fire. We got to stand up to this fiery affliction. That's about to get worse as Esau's time comes to a close. Esau is the beginning of the end, man. It says the end of the world is the beginning of it that followeth after. Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob the Israelites are the beginning of it that follow. So with that being said, rest assured in the promises of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Put your faith and trust in him continually without ceasing, without wavering, man. All right? Be strong in the faith. Be of good courage in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. With that being said, Lord's willing, this is edifying. Until the next one, Shalom.